Good morning.
Okay, Sean.
Rob, what laptop are you using?
Why it's not working well?
No, it's good.
It's not a laptop. It's a iPad.
Oh, perfect. Well done.
I'm trying to figure out my computer, but it's giving me issues, and my boss is really upset with me. His name is Ash.
Well,
Dictator.
He's not happy. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sean, take it on. Well,
Okay.
page 3.
in the
Open
middle.
up. If you run out of you, if your voice goes dead, don't worry. We have Shuri as a backup.
I want to
Yeah, we
hear
did.
Sharon.
No, Sean, you start.
Okay.
Shabbos.
Okay. Since the need for the perfection of divine service and the necessity of its purity and cleanliness is recognized by every wise person, for without these, the divine service is certainly totally unacceptable, but rather repulsive and despised. For the Eternal searches all hearts and understands all the workings of our thoughts. What then will we answer on the day of rebuke if we are lax in this study and forsake what we are required to do? This is the very essence of what the Eternal, our God, asks of us.
Okay, so stop there a second. So what is the Mesilat Yesharim continuing here and saying? What's the Ramchal saying? He's saying quite fascinating. He's saying like this. After we just realized that this is an obligation on every person, and point to the Mesilat Yesharim said it's not something that's going to just sit there naturally. You're going to have to work on it. That was the second point he made. So therefore, turns the Mesilat Yesharim, and now he's saying to us, he's telling us, listen, what are you going to answer in the day of judgment? What is a person going to say when he's going to be asked, okay, how did you behave? Now, there's this thing called social experiences that people do. Experiment.
That's the one.
Okay, social experiment. And what happens is a person goes, he acts hungry. They did this in Israel. I'm sure they do it around the world. They did it on TV in Israel. They had a kid that comes hungry up to someone and asks him, says, I'm very hungry. Could you help me out? And they showed in the video how some people help out and some people don't. And some people just say, leave me alone. They become very uncomfortable with the kid. And some people help him out. And they try different situations. One interesting one was they had this kid that was left in a car. They put like a baby in but they acted like it's a real baby, but it wasn't in a car. Hey, Ariella, how are you? Ariella Wyman joined us. This is amazing. Anyways, so what happened was people walked past, and then they hear a baby crying. Some stopped, some didn't stop. It's quite fascinating. One lady stopped, and she got really, really upset. Really upset. And the guy came up and said, oh, it's okay, it's my baby, whatever. And she really, really was getting upset. And after the interview, it turned out she can't have her own kids. And she adopted a kid. And therefore she was flipping here. Someone has could have a child, and they leave him in the car. So there was this social experiment that they do. The point is that when you see it on video, that social experiment, you see quite a fascinating thing. You see how people could be caught doing things that are very wrong, or not caring about someone they should care, not helping a hungry kid, or whatever it is. And it's quite fascinating when you see it, because when it's on camera, then it's like the day of judgment. Now what they're gonna say. There's let's say a blind person coming up to them I saw one like that. They tried to exchange money, and they steal the blind person's money. They take his money away. So, oh man, that's it. Okay, and they take his money. They steal the money or something like that, right? What happens under that? Is there a different background?
It's my dad.
That's your dad. Wow. Okay. Oh, don't start.
Patty!
All right, sorry. I'm back.
Thank you. Thank you. Much better. So again, it's like the day of judgment. When a person is faced with a camera, it's like a day of judgment. They get judged on their on something they're doing, right? So we don't see that. We don't see that in our personal lives. We go through life. We don't have a camera that shows us, hey, this is something you did or that's something you did. You don't have that. But when time will come, a person will be judged on things. Says the Mesilat Yesharim, what are you going to answer? And a person is constantly challenged with different situations. So he says a person has to pay attention to it. And if you don't, what are you going to say when the day comes and a person is going to be asked, why didn't you put time and effort into yourself? Why didn't you think about your day? You spent hours on Instagram or hours on Facebook or hours on whatever it is, uni work, or hours in your job, or just chilling or watching a movie. 1 hour a week, let's say example. You'll be asked, did you spend an hour during the week to think about your life or to think about what you should do better? And many people will not be able to say that they even spent an hour a week, let alone every day, but just an hour a week, people won't do. I was sitting with one guy, just one last story, and then we'll continue. I was sitting with one guy, and he says to me, listen, I work very, very hard. I wake up very early, and I work he works in a butcher. He used to work in a butcher. And he had to wake up extremely early. It was his brother's business, whatever, he had to run it. And he was extremely busy. So he said to me, I don't really have time. So I asked him, does he follow the footy? So he said, yes. So I said, how do you follow the footy? You have time to follow it? He said, no, you have to make time for that. So that for me was, and then I said to him, like, if you can make time for the footy, I'm sure you can make time once a week, once every second, once a fortnight, once a month. But guess what? If a person doesn't make time, then he will go through years of his life where he didn't give a minute of his day to think how to perfect himself. And that's, I think, something that he's pointing out here. What is a person going to say when that time comes? I was at a funeral a little while ago. I said I'm not going to say another story, but I have to. I was at a funeral a little while, a few weeks ago, months, I don't know. Anyways, and there was a person he was 93 years old, something like that, maybe 94, 95. Anyways, he passed away. And the grandchildren got up to speak, and they were talking to grandchildren. Two of their parents were the daughters, whatever, two daughters, and they pointed out how their grandfather did not give time to his kids, and then later in life he was fixing it up. And there was so much, they pointed out that he really tried to fix it in the next second part of his life. I don't know, when he turned 60, 70, something like that, he tried to make up. But he wasn't there for the important times of his kids. And there was so much regret in their speeches. So much regret. And I was thinking, this is a 94-year-old. He lived for so long. Yet there's regret in the speeches of the times that he lost, that he didn't give it to his families. And that was a fascinating wake-up for me to think about. A person can have a long life, but he can have regrets. A person can have a shorter life and not have regrets. And that for me was a shake-up. You know, you have to pay, it doesn't matter the amount of time you have, it's what you do with that time that you have. It's not the amount of time you have in this world, it's what you do with that time. So it's very important to realize that. And that's, I think, what the Mesilat Yesharim is saying. What are we going to answer when we lack time to pay attention to it? Okay, Sean, you ready? Oh, you just got up. Okay.
No, I'm ready. All good. Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah. This is the very essence of what the eternal God asks of us. Is it befitting our intelligence that we exert ourselves and labor in speculations concerning which we have no obligation, in fruitless debates and empty pill-pool, and in laws that are not applicable to us, while the great obligation that we owe our Creator, we abandon to habit and rote? If we have neither...
Okay, so what does one say? Look, so what does one say? One says, okay, I do attention. I do try and be a good person. So the Mesilat Yesharim is pointing out point number 2 is, don't leave it to just abandoned it to rote, to meaning I just do it every day. This is what I do, so I keep doing it. A person has to realize that's not how it works. You can't just say, yes, I do good things, but I just do it every single day. Because if a person does the right thing every single day, eventually that becomes so plain. And I'll give you a very simple example for that. Example, you say thank you to your mom, or I to my wife for dinner. Thank you very much for dinner. I do that every single day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Every single day, 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Thank you very much. Honey, sweetie, thank you. I appreciate it, right? What happens to that? Question?
Oh, it loses its meaning.
What happens to that? Thank you.
It loses.
It loses its meaning.
Yeah. And it just
What else?
becomes habitual.
Exactly right. You are eventually you're just saying it because that's what you say, but really it's not even, it doesn't make you into even a better person because you just do it rote. And in fact, you're not even thankful anymore sometimes. And you just say thank you because that's what we do. We just say thank you. And it's quite a fascinating thing that a person could think that they have great character traits because they say thank you and please and so on. But because it's just rote and it was never thought through, then it remains that way. And then Mesilat Yesharim says you have to give time and thought it. We did once a shir. I did a shir about, imagine a waiter comes in and he serves you a meal and he say thank you very much. Now I turn around and I can ask anyone, and I found many people struggling with explaining why do you say thank you? The person is getting paid to do it, and that's his job, and he's not doing it to you because he wants to be nice to you. He's doing it because that's his job, and he wants. In fact, in Israel, they'll be even extra nice because they want to get a tip. So why are you saying thank you to a person when he does for you this? Why are you saying thank you? What's the point? And it's hard to explain what's the point. Only once a person starts looking into his life and he realizes, okay, gratitude. You have to be grateful to someone when they do for you something. And you can't just be a person that's not grateful for things that others do for him. So if a person recognizes that and he does it and he says thank you because he understands what's the idea of gratefulness, being grateful, and even if someone had to do it for me, it's still the fact that it came through that person. I have to appreciate it. When a person does that, then what happens? He starts changing as an individual. But if you do it at rote, if you do everything in your life, just that's what you do, then a person will lack the understanding of what he's doing, and eventually even good things you do are kind of pointless. Okay, keep going.
If we have neither contemplated nor studied what true fear of heaven is, or what its ramifications are, how will we acquire it? And how will we escape from the vanity of the world that renders our hearts forgetful? Surely it will fade away and be forgotten, even though we recognize its necessity. And likewise, love of the eternal. If we do not make an effort to anchor it within our hearts, with the power of all those means that lead us toward it, how will it exist within us?
Okay, so he's pointing out like this. We have so many, again, we pointed out before, that we have so many things in this world that will make us forget to pay attention to those things. There's so many things in our life that you get sidetracked by. Again, pointing out the situation that we're in today, that we're sitting around, everyone's in their house pretty much, nothing else happening, just makes us contemplate and think backwards, and we say, how many of us just live our life and our life goes by and we just run through life without realizing that we actually can stop and try and think about how we're treating others, how we're behaving with others. That's just an interesting, thing that happens to a person that we have to be aware of. That there is a importance in my life, and that is to pay attention to how to do the right thing. But because we get sidetracked, there's so many things that sidetrack us, we forget to do this. Okay, keep going.
How will devotion and ardor for the Blessed One and His Torah enter into our souls if we do not direct ourselves toward His greatness and exaltedness, thereby internalizing it within our hearts? how will our thoughts be purified if we do not try to cleanse them from the blemishes infused in them by physical nature? Much the same can also be said about the character traits which need improvement and adjustment. Who will adjust them and who will correct them with all the necessary rigor, if not us?
Right? So again, all these things need a person's focus, if it's his character traits or other things. There's a great example for this. There's a guy that once merited a great reward. There was a contest, and he got this reward. He can go into someone's treasure, and he can take whatever he wants. And this was opportunity once in a lifetime to do. And the guy gets ready. He's a very strong man, very quick. But the person that gave this prize got nervous. He was extremely wealthy, the guy that gave this prize. And he was afraid that the guy will walk into his bank, whatever it was, a bank, let's say, and he will go into the safe and he will just empty out everything, every dollar, every bar of gold, everything. So before he goes in, he calls one of his friends and says, "What should I do? I'm afraid that the guy is quick, he's strong, he will just empty out everything." He says, "Give me a few weeks." He comes back to him after a few weeks. He has a whole plan ready to go. Okay? So this guy on the day, they're waiting. He's getting ready to go in. He gets 5 minutes in this safe, and he can take whatever he wants out of the safe. He starts walking towards the safe, and sure enough, he sees the actor of the movie, the best actor that he loves. Obviously, they did the research. They knew that this is his star. And he sees him standing right there. And he says, "Wow, this is unbelievable. I got to get a picture with him." He gets a picture with him. 10 seconds go down the drain. But okay, he still has 5 minutes, right? He says, "Oh, sorry. I just have to go get all the money and then I'll be back." He keeps walking. Suddenly he sees the best soccer player of the world, Messi. Messi is right there. Gets a picture with Messi. Messi says, "Let me sign for you a ball." He says, "No, okay, quick, do it quick because I have to run." And he does it, and then he sees the best band ever, Guns N' Roses, playing just for him, the best song he loves. And he starts playing his music. And again, he just has to listen to one part of the song that he likes, and then he keeps running. And then he starts running furthermore, and he sees this delicious food, unbelievable meat, unbelievable smell, exactly the type of meat he likes, with the best chef, a master chef that he obviously loves, and his best making of food, whatever, and he stops there to eat that, and then he keeps running again, and he sees another thing and another. By the time he gets to it, he starts, okay, I have to focus, he grabs one bar of gold, and he gets stopped. The 5 minutes is over. Sorry, we have to escort the guy out. And it's the same with our lives. You know, we start off, say, yeah, I'm only 18. I don't have to do too many things, and I could chill. And we start living our lives. We're 18, and then we're 19, and we're okay. I'll go to some music festival. It's nice. The best artists are there. I have to go to it. And then you go, and then you say, okay, I'll smoke a little bit of weed just for 1 year, and then I'll get my life on track. And the person goes and does that. And before you know it, and this is, you can see it. If you look at 27-year-olds, 28-year-olds, 29-year-olds, some of them are focused, but some of them are not. And those that are not focused find themselves at the age of 30, 33, 40, 34, having to work on things that they could have sorted out in a much younger age and deal with it in a much healthier way. And now there's so much more involved in it. And you see it. I mean, I have friends like that. I have people I know like that. People come to me like that. See people that if they would just put more time into themselves when they were younger, things would be better. Because as we said, there's a lot of sidetracking from these things. There's things that will sidetrack you to not pay attention to it. And if a person does not pay attention to it, it's not going to come. No one's going to help him not to change his character trait and not to pure his thoughts, the way he thinks. And he won't be able to become a person that's focused on growth. And you can meet a 50-year-old that still thinks he's a teenager. That's what happens. That's just the reality of life. And it's not that the guy has done anything wrong. He's just not done anything right. That's all. Right? And that's already good enough to make us stuck in life and remain a teenager by the age of 50. Okay. Sean, you ready?
Yeah. Where are we up to?
We're up
If
we
yeah,
analyze.
if we analyze the matter objectively, we would no doubt discover its veracity. This would benefit us, and we could then teach it to others, thereby benefiting them as well. As said by Shlomo, if you seek it as you would silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand fear of the eternal. He does not say, then you will understand philosophy, then you will understand astronomy, then you will understand medicine, then you will understand the legal issues and judgments of halakha, but rather, then you will understand fear of the eternal. We must see that in order to understand fear of the eternal, one must seek it out as he would silver and search for it as he would hidden treasures.
Okay, this is a quite interesting chapter, and we'll end with this, and then if someone has a question. But it's quite interesting how he says here, you have to seek for it like you seek for treasure and silver and so on. So it's quite an interesting thing. If I told you to go back out to your backyards right now, everyone sitting in their houses right now, go out to your backyard and start digging a 2-meter hole in the ground. Find shovels, figure out tools, take a spoon from your house, I don't know, and start digging in your outside garden, 2 meters. Would it be a hard job? Would anyone be interested in doing that?
No.
Joel? No. You look too comfortable there to want to do something like that right now.
Definitely.
So definitely not, right? So, but if I turn around and I say to you guys, in your backyards, you got a treasure. There's quite a bit of money. And it's a lot. It's worth a lot. Are you willing to go out and do it? Of course you would be willing to do it. And you would go digging there. And not only would you be willing to do it, you would be doing it with a smile and enthusiasm. And you would dig and dig and dig till you get the money out. But the reason why it's so easy to dig is because you're digging for a purpose. And the purpose is to get the money, the treasure. So too in growth. People say it's hard to grow. It's hard to change. That's true. But if you understand that your growth and your change is like gaining treasure, it's an unbelievable investment into yourself, then a person will find it easy. But if we see it as something that's I got to do it because I got to do it because otherwise, no. If you understand this is an investment in your life, a person that wakes up at 10 o'clock and sits down in front of a computer for 25 minutes just to talk about growth, that's an investment. Yes, it might be annoying. You might have other things on mind, but I'm investing into myself. That is growth. And says you have to constantly, Shlomo HaMelech says, you have to constantly look at it in that way. If you don't look at it in that way, you will not be able to grow. You have to always see growth is an investment. Growth is finding a treasure. You're revealing more and more good things about yourself, how you could achieve better things, and so on. So I think that's something to focus on, and we'll leave you with that to focus and try and see your growth not as a job that's hard and difficult, but rather as an opportunity of investing into ourselves to find the treasure within each one of us in our back garden, right there. It might require physical work. It might require work. We're not saying it's not. We're not saying it's easy, but it's worth it. That's the idea. Any questions before we hang up? We don't have to have questions. Sean, thank you very much. You did a great job. You see, everyone understood you, so that's good. No questions. Kathy, any question?
No questions. Just happy to.
Great seeing you. Great seeing you, boy.
I'll be back.
And I like the flag in the back.
Oh, do you want to see the best photo? Look at this. Don't worry. This is the best photo that I have. Ready?
Oh,
look.
Oh, the verse.
That's kosher.
The verse. Can't you see the trick is, Rabbi? I'll show you later. Don't worry. It's easy. You can easily.
Koyach, everybody. I don't know who else is on because I have a little thing. But Kavi Resnick, I could see you on. I didn't realize you were on.
Thank you. No, I joined late. Thanks, Rabbi.
See who else
Thank you.
is on. But anyways, okay. You have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thanks.
Chombers.
Hey, the grouse.
Was.
Ariella glasses on.
Was. What?
Guys, is it
I'm
too
good.
And meeting.
is it too early for a whiskey?
Oh no, Kathy, the quest isn't even. Oh, whatever.
Can't be.
Let's have whiskey.
Wait, it's just afterwards. Oh, this is late. It's still recording.